It's not much of a secret that here at Thinlicious and in this Ditch the Carbs podcast, we are big believers in all of the health benefits of following a healthy, low-carb lifestyle. Because honestly, there's really no better way to lose weight and improve your overall health than by adopting a diet that's low in carbs and rich in nutrient-dense proteins and healthy fats. But what if you're already doing that and you're ready for just a little bit more? What if you're ready to enhance your results, or you just want to improve certain aspects of your health with additional vitamins and supplements? How do you navigate that overwhelming sea of choices and select the specific vitamins and supplements that will help improve your gut health, aid in reducing inflammation, combat insulin resistance, or just improve your overall energy and wellness? Well, that's our topic of the day. So get your notepad ready because we're about to take a deep dive into the best vitamins and supplements for a healthy low-carb lifestyle. Welcome to the Ditch the Carbs podcast, brought to you by Thinlicious. I'm your host, Ruth Sukup, and here we'll talk about everything from the science of weight loss and metabolic flexibility to practical tips for making your health a priority in the midst of a very busy life. It's the perfect blend of insightful education, practical application, and good old-fashioned motivation. So buckle up, friend, because it's about to get real. Hey there, and welcome back to the Ditch the Carbs podcast. Once again, my name is Ruth Sukup, and I am the founder of Thinlicious and the Thin Adapted System, as well as the New York Times bestselling author of 7 books. And if you are new to this podcast, you should also know that basically I'm just a 40-something-year-old woman who knows really well what it's like to struggle with your weight and with eating well and getting healthy. So if this is your first time listening to the podcast, then at some point you may want to go back and listen to one of the very first episodes where I share a lot more of the details of my own weight loss journey. It's called The Simple Changes I Made to Lose 40 Pounds and Actually Keep It Off. And that will just give you a really good overview of where I've been and how I got to here and maybe why you would want to listen to this podcast. But today, I want to talk about a topic that we get so many questions about from our customers, especially those who have already started following a low-carb lifestyle and are really just kind of starting to experience some of the many health benefits. And now they're just wanting to start leveling up their results a little bit more. And I get it because I was exactly the same way. So the topic of the day is vitamins and supplements, and specifically what ones you should consider adding to your diet. And before we get into it all, I'm just going to tell you right now that this is actually a topic that we cover in depth in our TAS program. We literally have an entire lesson in our curriculum that's devoted to vitamins and minerals and supplements and understanding them. And it's where Dr. Edie and I we explain it all in so much detail, so much more in depth than I could possibly do in this one podcast episode. So just know that if you're already in TAS, then you're definitely going to want to spend some time listening to that lesson for the most in-depth information. But I also know that vitamins and supplements are a topic and a question that come up again and again and again in our community, probably because there are just so many options out there. It's totally overwhelming. So I do think it's something that's worth talking about more than once and also here on this podcast. And so today, we're going to dive into more or less an overview of some of my favorite options for supplementing a low-carb lifestyle. But before we get into all of that, I did want to tell you just about one thing really quickly. It's that if you are brand new to this Ditch the Carbs podcast and really to Thinlicious in general, I have a nice little gift for you. It is a free starter guide called Flip the Switch, and it's just a really great introduction to our approach to health and weight loss here at Thinlicious. But it's really something that will allow you to go a little bit deeper into the science of our program, why it works, and even why if you've hit a certain age, it probably feels like your metabolism has stopped working, and it's going to kind of lay it all out for you. And the good thing is it's totally free. So just to download it, you need to go to thinlicious.com/guide and grab it. So once again, that URL to go to for your free guide is thinlicious.com/guide. Got it? Okay. So with that out of the way, let's talk about vitamins and supplements, and specifically some of the best ways to supplement a healthy low carb lifestyle. Because honestly, I think just the sheer number of choices in the vitamin aisle, like walk down the vitamin aisle or go to Whole Foods and walk down that whole section of vitamins. It's so overwhelming. So to help make it a little less overwhelming, I want to dive into some of the specific vitamins and supplements that I recommend for overall health and wellness and for some specific issues. But before we get into all of it, let me also just give this disclaimer, okay? I am not a doctor, guys. I don't claim to be a doctor. I am not a doctor. Our program is physician guided. We have a physician advisor, but I am personally just someone who has done a lot of research on this topic. I read about it. I listen to books. I read studies. I do all the things. I am basically obsessed with low carb living and health and wellness and all those things. So I have done a lot of research on this, but I am not a doctor. So as with any type of supplementation, you should always check with your doctor first to make sure that what I'm talking about and what I'm recommending are safe for you specifically, especially if you've got any medical conditions or if you are on any kind of medication, just to make sure that there's no counter actions or anything that you shouldn't be taking. I also believe that diet and lifestyle should always come first, right? That's always going to be superior to any supplements that you could ever take. So if you are not yet following a healthy low carb lifestyle, then I'm just going to be frank with you. That is the place to start before adding in any supplements. You can't supplement your way out of a crappy diet. You just can't. But assuming that all of that is already in check, this should hopefully be a helpful overview of some of the best vitamins and supplements that you'll want to consider adding in. Of course, you may be wondering whether vitamins and supplements are even necessary. Because after all, isn't the goal of a healthy low carb lifestyle just to get the majority of your vitamins and minerals from whole food? And the answer, of course, is 100%. Yes, absolutely. You should always strive to get the majority of your nutrition from real foods, from nutrient-dense foods. In fact, the more real whole foods that you can eat, the better, especially with things like red meat, which is literally jam-packed with essential vitamins and minerals like iron, zinc, vitamin B12, and healthy fats. Things like dark vegetables, spinach, kale, broccoli, all of those are packed with vitamins, essential vitamins K, C, A, right? Like just so many vitamins, so much good stuff. Whole foods are the way to go. But even if you are eating a perfect diet, even if you are getting all of the necessary nutrients from your food or most of the necessary nutrients from your food, sometimes it's just not enough, especially if you are over 40 or if you have any chronic health issues that actually affect your ability to absorb those key nutrients. Or maybe you're just really busy and you don't have time to cook 3 amazing meals every single day. I know I don't. And honestly, even though we may strive to get all of our nutrients from food, it can be difficult. Just the way that our modern food is set up. We don't always have access to the freshest produce. It's not always local produce, right? And if we do, there's no guarantee that it has been grown well and that it contains all of the vitamins and minerals that it actually should. And in that case, supplements really can be a great way to fill in any nutritional gaps that your diet might be leaving. And so when taken together with a healthy low carb lifestyle, trying to eat more whole foods and just get most of your nutrients from foods, those supplements can really play an important role in helping to support your overall energy and wellness. Additionally, certain vitamins and supplements can be really beneficial for some specific health goals, things like reducing inflammation, aiding in digestion or gut health, improving immunity, or even to help reduce insulin resistance. So while the answer is yes, we want to get our nutrients from whole foods, it's still important to understand a little bit more about what supplements could be good to add in and why. So with that in mind, you might still be wondering, well, what do vitamins and minerals actually do, right? We hear a lot about them, but you might not know like what function they play in your health. Well, first, it's important to understand the role that vitamins and minerals play in the body, because vitamins are basically organic molecules that give your body energy, while minerals are inorganic elements that help to maintain basic body functions like vision, respiration, muscle contractions, and blood clotting. And all of these different processes need certain vitamins or minerals from your diet to function properly, or else you risk developing deficiencies. And each one plays a little bit of a different role, and they kind of all work together to help keep your body running smoothly. So, for example, vitamin A helps us to see better in the dark, while vitamin C is essential to our immune system and helps protect against infection. And vitamin D keeps our bones strong, and B vitamins help to convert food into energy. While minerals like calcium keep our muscles and nerves functioning properly, and iron helps to produce red blood cells, right? They all are doing all of these different things. But that's also where things start to get real overwhelming really fast. I mean, are you supposed to take 6,000 different supplements every single day just to make sure you're getting all the right things? And I mean, even things like, is there such a thing as too many supplements? Can you actually overdose on some of these? Thankfully, the question to that first question, are you supposed to take 6,000 supplements every day, is a resounding no. And while there probably is a thing as too many supplements, it is actually pretty hard to overdose on some of these things. There's a few that you have to be careful about, but overall, overdosing is unlikely. But the good news is that there really are only a handful of key vitamins and minerals that you need to focus on in order to make sure that you're getting all the nutrition that your body needs. And most of those will certainly come from your food, so long as you're mostly eating a diet that's rich in the kind of nutrient-dense whole foods that we really advocate for in our program. That's why I think it can be almost more helpful when you are just getting started to focus on a handful of supplements that can aid in specific functions in your body. So things that you might specifically be working on. So things like maybe you're working on reducing insulin resistance, which if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know is a really big deal. Or things like reducing inflammation. Maybe that's a big problem for you. Or you're working on improving your gut health, and that's a big thing for you right now. Or maybe it's just wanting to increase your overall wellness and energy. So let's just kind of talk about some of those one at a time. First up, specific supplements that can help to reduce insulin resistance. And this is especially important if you have type 2 diabetes, or maybe your doctor has told you you have pre-diabetes. But it's also beneficial for anyone who wants to maintain a healthy weight and healthy blood sugar levels. And obviously, that's something that we focus on a lot in our program, because it's so related to our metabolism and how well our metabolism is functioning, because so many of us have at least some level of insulin resistance happening in our body. So there's a few different things, supplements that you may want to consider. One of the most popular supplements in this category is something called chromium picolinate, which helps your cells respond better to insulin so that more glucose can be absorbed by the body and stored as energy. So chromium can be a really good one. Another really popular supplement for this is called berberine, which has been shown in multiple studies to help reduce fasting glucose levels and improve your insulin sensitivity. So those are two that you might want to think about for insulin resistance, chromium and berberine. And you may also want to consider adding in some alpha lipoic acid, or ALA, which is a powerful antioxidant that has been shown to lower blood sugar levels and reduce insulin resistance. And then there are also a few different herbal extracts that have been found to be beneficial for insulin resistance. So things like bitter melon extract has been linked to improved insulin resistance and blood sugar control. Well, something called Genema sylvestra is an ancient Ayurvedic herb that helps to reduce sugar cravings and improve glucose metabolism. And another great option for reducing insulin resistance is actually something that we probably all have in our kitchens, and that's cinnamon. The active ingredient in cinnamon is called cinnamaldehyde, and it has been found to support healthy blood sugar levels by improving the body's ability to absorb and store energy from food. So those are some great options if you're wanting to focus specifically on insulin resistance. Next on the list are supplements that help to reduce inflammation. So, as you may or may not know, chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the leading causes of many of the health issues that we see today. So, doing what you can to reduce inflammation is really, really important if you just want to feel better. And honestly, if you currently experience any sort of chronic pain or joint discomfort, some of these are definitely worth looking into. So one very, very popular supplement for this is called curcumin, which is the active ingredient in turmeric. And that has been linked to many anti-inflammatory benefits. Maybe you've even heard about turmeric or people talking about turmeric. And this has been definitely found to help reduce inflammation in the body and improve joint health. It's also an excellent source of antioxidants, which can help protect against free radicals that cause oxidative damage. Plus, it has been found to be helpful in reducing joint pain and discomfort, making it an awesome natural option if you're dealing with arthritis. Another great supplement to consider specifically for inflammation is fish oil, which contains the omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. And these have been found to reduce inflammation throughout the body and even to help lower cholesterol. So that's a really big deal as well. But just one quick word of warning, you do want to be a little bit careful with fish oil supplements because they can go rancid. So you want to be careful about that, but they also can contain high levels of mercury if you're not buying one from a reputable source. So be sure to do a little bit of research with that. You may also want to consider adding in some quercetin, which is an antioxidant found in many fruits and vegetables that has been linked to reducing inflammation. And quercetin is also really great for improving your overall immune system health. It's something that I definitely take daily, but especially if I feel like I'm coming down with something, or if my kids say that they're sick, then we load up on quercetin as well. So really good for immune health as well. Additionally, there is a ton of research being done with CBD oil right now and its effects on inflammation. And so, CBD can be a little bit controversial. I don't know if it still is these days, but it has been found to have some anti-inflammatory properties, and it could definitely be something that's worth looking into if chronic inflammation is a big issue for you. Whew, you got it? Okay. So next up, there are supplements that help with improving gut health because, as you probably know by now, I am basically obsessed with gut health. But let's be real about this, you guys. It's hard to talk about improving your overall health without talking about your gut because it's so connected to everything else. So, of course, one of the most popular supplements for gut health is probiotics, which we have talked about before. We've talked about gut health, but if you're not taking a probiotic, you got to be taking a probiotic. But basically, probiotics are live bacteria and yeast that help your gut to stay in balance and also help to strengthen your immune system, which is, of course, huge. And they are great for reducing bloating and helping to aid in digestion. So if you've had digestive struggles, definitely get yourself on a probiotic. Now, you may also want to consider adding some sort of prebiotic supplement to the mix as well, because basically what the prebiotic does is it helps to provide food for the probiotics so that they can do their thing. And another great supplement to consider is digestive enzymes, which help to break down your food and help to improve your nutrient absorption. And those can be especially helpful if you have any sort of digestive issues like IBS or bloating. And finally, there's also something that's called glutamine, which is an amino acid that helps to reduce inflammation specifically in the gut and helps to restore healthy intestinal cells. It helps to really repair the lining. So if you know that you have leaky gut or you suspect you have leaky gut, that can really help with that. It has also been linked to improving the symptoms of irritable bowel system, IBS. So if that's something that you're struggling with, that might be something that you want to consider as well. And last but not least, there are definitely a few foundational supplements that I feel like everyone should probably consider taking regularly, just because they help you to sort of maintain an overall sense of wellness and energy, and also just help provide that baseline foundation for good health. So definitely first on the list for me is magnesium. It helps your body absorb calcium, which can help improve your bone health. And it also helps with just muscle relaxation, hormonal balance for women. That's a really big deal. It helps to reduce stress and anxiety, helps get your cortisol down, which also helps with your insulin resistance. It's just a really great way to boost overall wellness. And a lot of people are magnesium deficient. So there are typically a few different types of magnesium supplements that are available. It comes in magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate, or magnesium chloride typically. I usually recommend sticking with magnesium glycinate, but you could also do the citrate. Those are the two that are better absorbed by the body. Magnesium citrate can make you have to go to the bathroom a little bit more, like number 2. And so if you struggle with that, you may want to consider doing the magnesium citrate. Otherwise, if you're not having issues with going number 2 and you don't want to be going number 2 excessively, then you may want to stick to the magnesium glycinate. And, magnesium is a great one to take in the evening before you go to bed, because it can just help with relaxation, but don't worry about it. Like if you like to take all of your pills in the morning or something like that, all of your supplements in the morning or when you're eating or whatever, it doesn't actually make you fall asleep, but it will help you relax in the evening if you take it then. I would also recommend probably considering a B complex vitamin, especially if energy has been a big deal for you. B vitamins help with energy. They help boost your energy. They help with metabolism and have been shown to reduce stress and improve your mood as well. And then vitamin D is also a very good idea, because it's estimated that more than 50% of people in the world are deficient in vitamin D. So chances are, especially if you live in North America, you have some vitamin D deficiencies. And vitamin D is awesome for supporting immune system health, as well as for improving bone and muscle strength. And then to help your body absorb the vitamin D, I would also recommend adding in some vitamin K2. This, for whatever reason, those two work really well together. And so the vitamin K2 just plays an important role in helping your body to absorb the vitamin D, to absorb the calcium and other minerals, while also aiding in bone health. And bone health for women, as you probably know, is a really big deal. That was a lot. That was a lot of information in a short amount of time. I know it was. So if you were listening to this episode in a place where you couldn't take any notes, you may want to go back and listen again, or you could also go check out our blog post today on thinlicious.com, where we will include a recap of this episode and a recap of all the supplements that we've discussed in this episode, because sometimes it's just easier to see it all in written form. And like I said at the beginning, there is so much more that I could say about this topic, and so much more that we could get into about what each specific vitamin and mineral does for your body, and whether you should consider supplementing, and what foods you could be getting it from. But like I said, that's actually something that we go much more in depth into with Dr. Edie inside our TAS program. So that is an amazing resource for you there if you are part of that program. If you're part of TAS, do not miss that lesson. It's meaty. It is a meaty lesson, but it's so jam-packed full of super valuable information. And if you're not yet in TAS, which is short for Thin Adapted System, that's our main program here at Thinlicious, but you are ready to get serious about transforming your health in a really significant way, then please know that the enrollment is not open right now, but we will be opening enrollment again at the end of October. Because this is such a hands-on program, we only open the doors a few times a year. And when we do, we only have a limited number of seats available, just to make sure that we have enough staff available, enough resources, coaches. So if you know that you want in the next time we open the doors, be sure to get on our wait list for that. But if you are wanting to get started sooner and you're wanting to just start following our program, the best way that you can do that right now is with our starter program, the 28-day metabolism reset, which you can find at thinlicious.com/reset. You can go there. Again, that's thinlicious.com/reset to get the 28-day metabolism reset. And honestly, that really is the perfect introduction to our program. It will help walk you through phase 1, and that will really get you ready to hit the ground running once the doors open up again for TAS in October. So again, you can get access to that at thinlicious.com/reset. Or like I said at the beginning, if you just want more information about exactly how our program works and really the science behind it and want to be added to our wait list, you can download our free guide at thinlicious.com/guide. Okay, you guys, that is about all I have for you today. I will be back on Thursday with another in-depth expert interview. We will be talking to Leanne Vogel about blood chemistry and how the food we eat specifically affects our blood, as well as some of the health issues that it can cause without even realizing it. It really is fascinating stuff. So I'm excited for that. In the meantime, if this episode was helpful to you, please, please, please be sure to pass it along to anyone that you think could benefit. You know, if vitamins come up, supplements come up, and you're talking to a friend or a neighbor or whatever, pass along this podcast episode. I truly believe that we can change the world by helping people transform their health. So if you have any friends or family who are struggling with health issues, just send them a link to this podcast so they can start listening too, because knowledge is power. And then, of course, be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you like to listen so that you can be automatically notified of new episodes. And then I will see you back here very soon for another new episode. Bye, friends.